I am the most brilliant young dark wizard in the Western world, sent by the Archbishop to the East for a foreign exchange program. During my interview with the Demonic Sect, I pensed my proudest achievement. I had claimed the souls of 18 people. The interviewer frowned slightly. And what about the afternoon? Just a heads up, the full story is out. Alright, buckle up, because this one gets messy fast. My name is Tom Peter. My background is tragic. My mother died in childbirth having me. My father abandoned us, leaving me to fend for myself. Later, I was taken in by an orphanage in London. From a young age, I displayed an exceptional affinity for the dark arts. I was withdrawn and violent, constantly beating the other kids until they howled. At 11, I entered Hogwarts, and began secretly delving into dark magic. After graduating in pursuit of immortality and undying power, I began attempting to create Horcruxes. After discovering the truth about how my Muggle father abandoned my mother, I brutally murdered his entire family and created my first Horcrux. At 20, I joined the Western Dark Wizards Association. Becoming the youngest dark wizard in the guild, they called me Voldemort. To cultivate the next generation of core members, the Archbishop recommended me for a foreign exchange program in the East. During my interview with the Demonic Sect, the interviewer asked me to list the evil deeds I had committed. I pensed my proudest achievement. I claimed the souls of 18 people. I seduced 32 individuals into signing blood pacts with me. I created 7 Horcruxes. The Demonic Sect interviewer frowned slightly. And what about the afternoon? Wait, what afternoon? The interviewer's frown deepened. Are you telling me you've cultivated for 20 years, and you've only killed 18 people? The interviewers whispered among themselves. They looked at me. With eyes full of suspicion and doubt, I assumed they thought I was exaggerating. They probably looked at how young I was and couldn't believe I had ruined so many lives. I quickly pulled out my Horcruxes to prove I wasn't just bragging. Back where I was from, I was absolutely top tier, a public menace everyone wanted dead. However, the interviewers just muttered amongst themselves. His paperwork is in order, and his recommendation letter is legit. He probably isn't a spy sent by the Orthodox sects. Yeah, he's just genuinely terrible at this. Excuse me? After some discussion, the interviewers still approved my exchange application. I found out later that, normally, a record like mine would never get me into the Demonic Sect. But considering I was a Western exchange student, they lowered the bar and let me in on a technicality. After finishing the enrollment process, the Demonic Sect assigned me a senior brother to guide me and help me get familiar with the Eastern cultivation world as quickly as possible. I heard that this senior brother Lou to be a top-tier disciple of the Orthodox Taoist sect. He was a prodigy, an absolute genius, but for some unknown reason, senior brother Lou ended up with a massive bounty on his head from all the Orthodox sects. Several Demonic Sect grandmasters had to step in just to keep him alive, and after joining the Demonic Sect, senior brother Lou didn't face any discrimination for his Orthodox background. In fact, he was highly revered by the younger demonic disciples. Everyone gave him a thumbs up when they saw him. I curiously asked senior brother Lou what exactly he had done. Senior brother Lou sighed, looking genuinely confused. I don't know either. Back then, my master ordered me down the mountain to slay demons. After I killed a female demon, they suddenly claimed I had fallen to the demonic path. I was completely lost. That sounded perfectly normal. How did that result in being hunted down by the Orthodox sects? I thought about it for a second, then pressed further. Senior brother, what exactly did you do? He frowned, looking incredibly distressed. I didn't even do anything. I went to that family's estate to kill the demon. After I did, the young master of the house suddenly told me that he and the demon were in true love. He was crying and screaming, begging me to let them be together. So I just did what he asked. I vaguely sensed something was wrong, and asked, Senior brother, how exactly did you do that? Senior brother Lou spread his hands, looking completely innocent. I just killed him too so they could be together. Ah, I see. Senior brother Lou paused, then earnestly added also, just so the rest of the family wouldn't be too heartbroken over losing their son. I went ahead and killed his whole family too. That way, no one had to be sad. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. Senior brother Lou rubbed his nose, complaining I was being so considerate, and I have no idea why. But after I finished the mission, a bunch of people started screaming that I had become a demon, and threatened to kill me in the name of justice. He looked up, sighing with a melancholic expression. I really didn't want to, but I had to draw my sword to defend myself. I accidentally killed all of them too. And then, I got a bounty placed on my head by every Orthodox sect. I couldn't go back to my master. Later, a Demonic Sect Grandmaster found senior brother Lou. He asked him if he was scared, facing a combined hunt by the entire Orthodox Taoist alliance all by himself. At the time, senior brother Lou chuckled lightly, and said, It's just a little bit of bad weather. The Demonic Sect Grandmaster then asked, What if the Orthodox sects hunt you out to the ends of the earth? What will you do then? Senior brother Lou answered, Simple. I'll just kill everyone in the Orthodox sects. Listening to Senior Brother Lou's story, I quietly took a few steps away from him. Senior Brother Lou, acting completely normal, suddenly asked me, "Oh right, how do you Western dark wizards usually cultivate?" My eyes lit up, instantly energized. I was determined to show off a little in front of Senior Brother Lou. I looked up at him, a seductive smile in my eyes. "Darling, do you want to sell your soul? As long as you agree to offer me your soul after you die, I can grant you any wish." Senior Brother Lou's jaw dropped. He stared blankly and asked, "Are you saying after I die a natural death?" I nodded. "Of course." Senior Brother Lou looked at me weirdly, his eyes full of suspicion. "Junior Brother Voldemort, how much longer do you have to live?" I puffed out my chest, puffing up with absolute pride. "I can live for at least another 200 years. Senior Brother Lou thought about it for a moment, then asked me, "Then does Junior Brother know how much longer I have to live?" I looked at him blankly and shook my head. Senior Brother Lou counted on his fingers, then said to me, "If I don't break through to the next realm, I can probably live for another 3,000 years. Senior Brother Lou rubbed his chin and said, "You Western dark wizards are basically running a charity. With that kind of efficiency, how many souls do you even get a year?" I coughed awkwardly a couple of times. "Never mind, that's not important." In order to let me gain a deeper understanding of Eastern demonic cultivation, Senior Brother Lou decided to take me on a mission with him. According to intel gathered by the Demonic Sect, the young lord of Gayun City possessed a supreme heavenly spirit root. Next month, he was to be accepted into the #1 Orthodox sect, the Taisu Palace. Given enough time, he could become a major threat to the Demonic Sect. This kid absolutely could not be allowed to live. He had to be eliminated preemptively. When it was time to leave, Senior Brother Lou brought 2 fingers together, and a delicate longsword flew right under his feet. I was absolutely floored. Holy sh*, that looked so cool. Senior Brother Lou stood on the flying sword, turned, and looked at me. "Junior Brother, do you have a flying artifact?" I fidgeted awkwardly for a while, then slowly pulled out my magical broomstick. Senior Brother Lou clearly froze for a second. He thought about it for a long time, finally forcing out a sentence. "Not bad." Very culturally distinct, flying on the sword, Senior Brother Lou's robes flapped dramatically in the wind. Meanwhile, I clung to my broom handle for dear life, trying desperately not to fall off. He glanced back at me, noticing my pale face. "Junior Brother, are all Western flying artifacts this exhausting to use? Should we slow down a bit?" I gritted my teeth, didn't say a word, and just kept shaking my head. When we landed, Senior Brother Lou's posture was incredibly elegant, his movements graceful, not a single hair out of place. While my head was throbbing from the gale force winds, I swore to myself that I was definitely getting a flying sword later. The second I walked into Guyun City, I was hit by the chaotic, bustling street scene. I was totally overwhelmed. Both sides of the street were lined with all sorts of shops, and the massive crowds practically choked the road. Senior Brother Lou told me there were at least 10,000 people living in this city. Oh my god. That was literally more people than I had seen in my entire life. But past the shock, I quickly realized something else. In a city like this, overflowing with deception, backstabbing, status chasing, luxury, madness, and freedom, money and power, there were definitely going to be a lot of people willing to sign a contract with me. I couldn't help but get excited. My eyes were practically gleaming with anticipation, absolutely thrilled. This time, I was going to show Senior Brother Lou what I was truly capable of. I looked around, searching for the perfect target to seduce. Suddenly, I heard the sound of an argument up ahead. Senior Brother Lou and I famoured the crowd's gaze. We saw an old man selling fish, kneeling on the ground, begging. 2 men dressed in expensive silk robes. "Officers, she's my only daughter. Please, let her go." One of the men kicked the old man hard, sending him sprawling on the ground. He pulled the sword from his waist and snarled, "Our young lord taking an interest in your daughter is a blessing she couldn't earn in 8 lifetimes. Keep talking, and I'll chop you to pieces and feed you to the dogs." In a carriage parked nearby, a young man pulled back the curtain. He looked to be about 18 or 19. He was watching the old man get beaten and cursed at, with absolute amusement. Another guard dragged a young girl over to the carriage. The young man wore a smug, lecherous grin. Ignoring the girl's crying and struggling, he forcefully pulled her into the carriage. The young man forcefully grabbed her head, making her watch her father get beaten right in front of her. The young man leaned into the girl's ear and laughed lecherously. "See that? If you don't do exactly what I say, I will have them beat your father to death." The girl trembled violently and could only nod through her tears. Only then did the young man signal the guards to stop. The old man had already been beaten bloody. He was slumped on the ground like a dead dog, only able to watch helplessly. His daughter was taken away. Right now, that old man's heart was full of murderous rage and fury. If I just walked up to him and offered a deal, he would absolutely agree to a contract, and then I could just wait for him to die, slice, before I could even react. Senior Brother Lou's flying sword flashed past. The guards surrounding the carriage were instantly decapitated. The crowd of onlookers erupted in screams and scattered in every direction. Senior Brother Lu reached out and grabbed at empty air. 4 souls, heavy with resentment, were sucked out and trapped right in the palm of his hand. Junior Brother, you said you have to wait for someone to die naturally to claim their soul. That efficiency is just too low. Look, I just collected 4 right here. Isn't this so much more convenient? Then Senior Brother Lu flicked his finger and said, Junior Brother, these 4 souls are a gift for you. Consider it a welcome present from your senior brother. My eyes widened in shock. This was way too valuable. You have to understand, in our Western magical world, some dark wizards could go their whole lives without collecting 4 souls. But Senior Brother Lu just smiled casually. Not caring at all, I was moved to tears. I quickly opened my Necronomicon and stored the 4 souls inside. Then I made an inverted cross reverently over my chest. May Satan protect Senior Brother Lu forever. Hearing the commotion, the young man pulled back the curtain. Seeing the bloody mess around his carriage, his face turned dead pale in absolute terror. The girl next to him simply fainted on the spot. The young man trembled and asked, Who are you people? Senior Brother Lu ignored him. He just pulled out a portrait. He looked back and forth for a while, muttering, He looks kind of like him, but also not really. What's going on here? Senior Brother Lu thought hard for a while, but couldn't figure it out. He just put the portrait away and asked directly, Hey, is your name Chen Yishuan? The young man reacted like he had just triggered a keyword. My name is not Hey, my name is Chu Yu. No, wait, wrong script. The young man snapped back to reality and desperately shook his head. Sir, you have the wrong person. I am not Chen Yishuan. Senior Brother Lu frowned and said impatiently, Forget it, I'll just check for myself. He reached out and grabbed the young man by the throat. As Senior Brother Lu's fingers slowly tightened, the young man's face swelled and turned a bruised purple. Painful gasps came from his throat. Senior Brother Lu frowned, confused. Ordinary spirit root. You really aren't Chen Yishuan. Then keeping you alive is even more useless. Just go die. Senior Brother Lu's fingers suddenly clamped down, snapping the young man's neck clean. The young man's eyes widened in unwilling shock, and he stopped breathing entirely. Senior Brother Lu raised his hand and clenched his fist. The young man's soul was instantly sucked into a magical artifact. When Senior Brother Lu brought me to the City Lord's estate, we were quickly surrounded by over a dozen guards. A man who looked like the head butler yelled fiercely, You dare commit murder in the streets of Guiyun City. And you killed someone from the Guiyun estate? You have some serious nerve. Senior Brother Lu let out a mocking laugh, asking, What? You're allowed to kidnap people in the streets, but we're not allowed to kill people in the streets. What kind of logic is that? The butler's face turned completely dark. He made a hand signal. The guards drew their blades and charged at me and Senior Brother Lu. I pulled out my wand, stepping in front of Senior Brother Lu to protect him. Avada Kedavra. A blinding green flash shot out, hitting one of the guards. His body went rigid, his eyes wide with shock. He didn't even have time to scream before he collapsed on the ground. The other guards seemed stunned by the bizarre sight. I took the chance to wave my wand again, shouting Kedavra. Another guard was hit and dropped to the ground. Vra! However, the remaining guards snapped out of it. Their speed was unimaginably fast, causing several of my Avada Kedavras to miss completely, seeing the guards closing in. Senior Brother Lu patted my shoulder and said, Junior Brother, stop Kedavra-ing. It looks exhausting. He stepped forward. A massive wave of magical energy poured out of him. I had to admit, Senior Brother Lu's power was utterly terrifying. I had only ever felt magical energy this deep. Coming from the Archbishop. The remaining dozen guards couldn't even put up a fight. In the blink of an eye, they were all dead at the edge of the Senior Brother's sword. The butler looked completely horrified and turned to run. Senior Brother Lu's eyes narrowed. The flying sword shot straight toward the butler. Insolent fool. Do you think my Guiyun City is an easy target? A furious roar echoed from inside the estate. Senior Brother Lu's flying sword seemed to hit an invisible wall, stopping dead in midair, humming violently. Senior Brother Lu scoffed coldly and took another half step forward. The flying sword shattered the invisible barrier. Its speed suddenly spiked, piercing straight through the butler's back. You're asking to die, boy. A middle-aged man, his face twisted in rage, flew out from the estate, carrying a vicious, murderous aura. He attacked Senior Brother Lu. Senior Brother Lu wasn't scared at all. He just stood there, completely unbothered. That middle-aged man attacked with everything he had, but he couldn't even break past Senior Brother Lu's flying sword. This is Taikshu Palace's sword control technique. The middle-aged man's face shifted between shock and doubt. He temporarily pulled back his attack. Since you're a disciple of Taikshu Palace, don't you know I possess a heavenly spirit root? And I'm about to become a direct disciple of Master Taishu. Senior Brother Lu nodded and said deadpan, because I know. That's why I came to slaughter your entire family. The middle-aged man across from him froze, looking like he thought he heard wrong. Senior Brother Lu didn't bother wasting any more words. his figure blurred, teleporting right in front of the middle-aged man. I couldn't even track Senior Brother Lu's movement. He had already swung his sword, chopping the middle-aged man's head clean off. The middle-aged man's shocked expression was permanently frozen on his face. As it rolled down the steps, Senior Brother Lu carried his sword into the estate. He immediately ran into another guy, who looked exactly like Chen Yixuan, but after probing him, Senior Brother Lu realized this guy didn't have a heavenly spirit root either. That's when we finally realized that Chen Yixuan, to hide his identity, had purposely found several lookalikes to act as body doubles. What a cunning Eastern cultivator. When we killed our way to the 5th Chen Yixuan, Senior Brother Lu finally detected the heavenly spirit root. After slaughtering everyone in the entire estate, Senior Brother Lu didn't rush to leave. Instead, he dragged me into a corner to hide. Not long after, a little boy crawled out of a vase. His face also bore a striking resemblance to Chen Yixuan. The little boy hugged a corpse on the floor and started bawling. I was shocked, not expecting someone to actually slip through the net. Senior Brother Lu stepped out, walking right up to the little boy. The little boy looked absolutely terrified. He trembled and said, "Bro, wait, don't do this." Senior Brother Lu raised his hand and stabbed him. The little boy clutched his left chest and slowly collapsed. Senior Brother Lu then aimed for the boy's right chest and stabbed him again. The little boy violently sat back up like a zombie, left behind an unwilling motherker, and fell back down. Senior Brother Lu looked down, thinking for a moment, then aimed for the bottom of the boy's foot and stabbed him a third time. "What?" Senior Brother Lu explained. He was worried. The little boy's heart might be in the sole of his foot. After the little boy collapsed, Senior Brother Lu dragged me back to the corner. Not long after, a transparent figure drifted over. He stared at the little boy's corpse, deep in thought. This isn't right, according to the original plot. When Chen Yixuan was a teenager, his entire family was slaughtered by a demonic cultivator. He survived because his heart was in the sole of his foot. Later, Chen Yixuan joined the Taishu Palace, trained for years, and finally killed his enemy. But now Chen Yixuan is totally dead. How am I supposed to transmigrate into him now? I had no idea what he was muttering about. Senior Brother Lu didn't say a word. He just grabbed the ghost and instantly refined him, confirming the mission was finally complete. Senior Brother Lu was about to take me away, but suddenly, he seemed to sense something. He quickly grabbed me and dragged me back to the corner for the 3rd time. Not long after, the sound of air being sliced rang out. A man and a woman, 2 figures, walked in. Both of their robes were embroidered with intricate patterns. They carried long swords on their backs and carried themselves with incredible arrogance. They clearly weren't ordinary people. When the woman saw the carnage inside the room, her face changed instantly. She quickly walked over to Chen Yixuan's body. After examining it carefully, she gave a grim expression and shook her head at her male companion. "Senior Brother Zhang Li, we were a step too late. These demonic sect scum are truly vicious." She stood up and asked worriedly. "Senior Brother, Master specifically ordered us to make sure Chen Yixuan was protected. With things looking like this, how are we going to explain this to Master?" The one called Senior Brother Zhang Li thought for a second, then said, "As long as Junior Sister, the bodies still have warmth. On our way here, we didn't see any other cultivators leaving Guiyan City. I bet that demonic scum hasn't gotten far. As long as we drag him out and bring him back to the sect, it'll make up for our failure. Maybe we can avoid Master's punishment." The Junior Sister's eyes lit up. She gently grabbed Zhang Li's arm. "Senior Brother is so smart." But a second later, her excited look faded. "But Guiyan City has so many people, and demonic scum are good at hiding. It probably won't be easy to find them, right?" Jiang Li pondered for a moment, then said, "It doesn't matter. I can cast the heaven-burning array over the entire Guiyan City. That way, the demonic scum will have nowhere to hide." The Junior Sister looked a little hesitant, but once the heaven-burning array is cast, the civilians in Guiyan City won't survive. "Won't Master be angry with us?" Jiang Li scoffed like he couldn't care less. "They're just worthless mortals. Even if Master really does get angry, we can just blame it on the demonic scum." "What the fuck? You can do that?" Hearing Jiang Li's incredibly self-righteous words, my head was full of question marks. Aren't you supposed to be orthodox disciples? When you actually get down to it, you're more vicious than us, dark wizards. No wonder during my interview, the demonic sect interviewers suspected I was a spy from the orthodox sects. Looking at it now, I was basically more orthodox than the orthodox. Turns out, the real orthodox disciple was me all along. There's no time to lose. "Junior Sister, help me set the array," Jiang Li shouted loudly, launching himself into the air. The Junior Sister channeled her magical energy into Jiang Li. He sat cross-legged, floating in the air. The long sword on his back flew out of its sheath. Accompanied by the rumble of thunder, a layer of dark clouds gathered over Guiyan City. Many civilians in the city looked up, staring blankly at the strange anomaly in the sky. Jiang Li's hand signs blurred. A raging torrent of magical energy powered out of his body, forming a massive fireball that blocked out the sun. and in a fraction of a second, that fireball split into countless smaller fireballs. Like a storm of rain, they rained down from the sky in a dense swarm. The next second, I heard countless agonizing screams ring out. The civilians in Guayan City were hit by the fireballs, their bodies bursting into raging flames. I felt like I was standing in purgatory. Everything in sight was being incinerated by fire. The air was filled with the nauseating stench of burning flesh. A fireball rapidly expanded in my vision. I stood frozen in place, my mind completely blank. If you think a magical massacre is the climax, you're dead wrong. Part 2 is where the real horror begins.